I've been learning this past month, especially signal and noise. And I really have kind of started to realize, okay, there is a ton of noise out there. A ton of noise. From when you wake up to checking your phone and scrolling through social media, seeing like lots of different posts from people, and then like you have chats coming in, emails coming in from marketers, and then you go to like forums like LinkedIn or Blind or whatever and start reading that. It's just like this downpour of noise every day. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what noise you heard. It only matters what output you did for yourself, productive or non-productive. And it's the series of those choices day after day after day that ultimately make or break your life. So if you're like, oh, I'm just gonna read a lot of news and read a lot of emails and just feel unhappy, that could lead to you also like stress eating and not doing your exercise that day because you're in a bad mood, and also just treating everybody else around you kind of like crap. And over time that adds up, and it could lead to serious consequences. Whereas if you said, okay, there's a lot of noise, the world isn't in a bad place right now, there's a lot of layoffs and all this stuff, but you just kind of like say, I'm gonna shut that off, just not even look at it, and you just decide, I want to focus on like what I can for myself and make that productive and lead to a productive output every day, even if it's just really small and insignificant. That's actually better because the compound effect will actually take care of you. So looking back, like I think one of the things that I made as a mistake at my previous job was just not being courageous enough to do the work. I think fear affected me a lot. Everybody else seemed smarter. I felt like, okay, stressed out, maybe I just need a break. Around the time too, everybody was talking a lot about like mental health and taking care of your mental health, and that was sort of the popular thing especially given the pandemic. At the same time, I also felt that maybe a lot of times when something bad was happening at work, like I didn't understand something or it was too difficult, my choice to not like sit there and figure it out, work on it, I feel like that kind of hurt me because it made me not consistent. It made me stop being consistent. I would say like that's like really the issue. Like as I started seeing things were difficult at work and I didn't understand how to solve that stuff, those are things that I felt like I should have, like in retrospect today, like I felt like maybe I should have learned to do. By doing so, I would have added to my overall consistency of getting better day to day to day. But there's another story to it too, because for the last 6 months, I was working and I was building on my skill, and I learned a lot of new technologies. And I honestly kind of feel like if I just continue to be consistent at those things, in another 6 months, I could be like way better. So it's really on me to just stay consistent. If I stay consistent, the compound effect will take care of me. It's the little things that are simple that if you just do them and you like filter out the noise and you're like, okay, this noise does not help me lead to productive result. It just helps me lead to negative result. If you can see that, if you can be like, let me add all the stuff I did today and all the negative stuff that I did today. Am I in a plus or a minus? That's actually a really great thing to do. If you do that, you will be like amazed at like how much like positivity and negativity you've compounded over time, especially if you look over time. So I want to do a better job of being positive, having positive net outputs. I want to have better goals and be like, okay, I'm going to like work on this goal. Like, so for example, one goal I really want to be good at is leak code. So leak code is very difficult for me, but I feel like maybe I could just attempt line 75 and just really work towards making sure I understand that much, and set a goal like 6 months, just hammer at it. I know I always say this to like my counterparts and my friends and my wife and all this stuff, and they're like, when are you gonna do it? When are you gonna do it? Right? Like, you just gotta like filter out the noise. I think that's like the hardest part for anybody, for a human, right? It's just like filtering out noise. And like, when you're running a social media business too, a lot of people will be like, what are you doing? Like, why is you doing that? Or like, so stupid, this is a waste of time, why are you doing that? You got to look at it as just noise, and if you contribute to it, you're just contributing to the noise. It's the same with LinkedIn too. Like if you're going on LinkedIn and commenting to other people's like whatever posts, you're helping their algorithm, and like you're also just contributing to more noise. And sure, if you make a lot of noise, people will notice, But at the same time, you have to look at it this way. Does that noise like contribute to anything positive? And if it's like, okay, I didn't make any money with this social media post, stop doing it. If it's not helping you result in a positive output for the day, like, then you're in the minus, right? Like, if you didn't work out for the day, you're in a minus. Your body's in a minus, so you should make it in a plus. My thing with the social media is that if I make small little efforts per day, it's going to add up over time, and I'm going to get better, because like a lot of little things that I may not be noticing is that doing this vlog, I'm getting better at vlogging. I'm learning to be more comfortable with the camera. I think that's really important. It's all dependent on like how much effort you put in, which is why this book is so great to me, because he also talks about his dad, the author, who was a football coach, and he used to say, work harder than anybody else. Like, so what if they're smarter? So what if they're richer? Even the rich people, everybody has to work hard, even the smart people. And if they don't do it, that's their loss and your gain. If they're better at baseball than you, then you hit more, you run more, because most people don't want to put in the hours. Even myself, making this vlog is really difficult and embarrassing and awkward for me, because I keep messing up and there's so many weird pauses. But I can also kind of see like the improvements just from doing it, because the clarity in which I'm talking about different things is coming out. I do see the energy and the passion in different parts of this video. And I know I can take that and just use it and put it into good film. Like, ultimately the film that we see like on YouTube or social media is well edited. And it's just from a lot of practice, a lot of writing, a lot of raw emotion, just throwing it out there and stitching it together. So ultimately it comes down to this. If you want to succeed, then you can't get distracted by the things that are going on around you. Find out what things are causing noise in your life and turn those things off, especially if you can assess whether those things are leading you to make poor choices, negative choices. That may be the most difficult part, but if you look at your day and you just kind of see it as mathematical, you should be able to count up the number of positive things that you did and the number of negative things you did for yourself, no matter what's happening in the world. If you do something positive and you have a whole bunch of positive stuff for you at the end of the day, even if you just did 3 or 4 things, that's still a gain, because if you can do that consistently, it like adds up, and it makes you way better and closer to your goals. Bigger picture is like, are you hitting the goals? A lot of people think that they're smart. A lot of people think that they're really intelligent, and they probably are, and they can probably do much faster work than you, but they probably don't do it as often as they should. I'm one of those people who think, oh yeah, this is so easy, I can just bang it out in like 2 hours and like the rest of the day play. But there are people out there who are like consistent. They don't play for those 2 hours. They work pretty hard all hours, and they get better day over day over day, until they're better than me. And so then that hurts a lot, because I'm not that person. You know? So I need to stop like acting like, oh, I'm afraid, or like I'm too good, or whatever, right? I need to just kind of think in terms of like, am I working towards pluses and minuses? Yeah, just practice a lot, become better, because over time it's all gonna add up and make to a better experience. So anyway, thank you for listening, and if you like this video, then thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you next video.